Hello and welcome to my channel known as Traditional Country Music Artist. Here I will talk about the traditional country music genre and the artists that made hit after hit with this type of music. This music is the backbone of traditional country music. Y'all be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. We also have a website where you can go and listen to some of their music and read more about these artists if you will like. I will leave a link to it down in the description box, so y'all be sure to check that out. Now I'm starting from way back yonder. I'm going to be talking about James Charles Rodgers, best known as Jimmie Rodgers, but let's not confuse him with the Jimmie Rodgers pop singer. The Jimmie Rodgers I am talking about is widely regarded as the father of country music. He is best known for his distinctive rhythmic yodeling. He was born in Meridian, Mississippi on September 8, 1897. He was an American singer-songwriter, a musician who rose to popularity in the late 1920s. See, we're going way back. He has been cited as an inspiration by many artists and inductees into various Hall of Fames across both country music and the blues, in which he was a pioneer. Among his other popular nicknames are the Singing Brakeman and the Blue Yodeler. Rodgers' affinity for entertaining came at an early age, and the lure of the road was irresistible to him. By age 13, he had twice organized and begun traveling shows, only to be brought home by his father. His father found Rodgers his first job working on the railroad as a water boy. Here he was further taught to pick and strum by rail workers and hobos. As a water boy, he would have been exposed to the work chants of the African American railroad workers known as Gandy dancers. A few years later, he became a brakeman on the New Orleans and Northeastern Railroad, a position formerly held by his oldest brother Walter, who had been promoted to conductor on the line running between Meridian and New Orleans. In 1924, at the age of 27, Rodgers was diagnosed with tuberculosis. The disease temporarily ended his railroad career, but at the same time gave him the chance to get back into the entertainment industry. He organized a traveling roadshow and performed across the southeastern United States until he was forced home after a cyclone destroyed his tent. He returned to railroad work as a brakeman in Miami, Florida, but eventually his illness cost him his job. He relocated in Tucson, Arizona, and was employed as a switchman by the South Pacific Railroad. He kept the job for less than a year, and the Rodgers family, which by this time included his wife Carrie and a daughter named Anita, they settled back in Meridian in early 1927. Rodgers decided to travel to Asheville, North Carolina later that same year. On April 18, 1927 at 9:30 p.m., Jimmie and Otis Kendall performed for the first time on WWNC, Asheville's first radio station. A few months later, Rodgers recruited a group from Bristol, Tennessee called the Teneva Ramblers and secured a weekly spot on the station as the Jimmie Rodgers Entertainers. In late July 1927, Rodgers' bandmates learned that Ralph Peer, a representative of the Victor Talking Machine Company, was coming to Bristol to hold an audition for local musicians, later to become known as the Bristol Sessions. Rodgers and the group arrived in Bristol on August 3, 1927, and auditioned for Peer in an empty warehouse. Peer agreed to record them the next day. As the band discussed how they would be billed on the record, an argument ensued and the band dissolved. So Rodgers arrived at the recording session the next morning alone, or as later stated on an camera interview with Claude Grant of the Geneva Ramblers. That part's unsure if he was alone or with Claude Grant. On Wednesday, August 4th, Jimmie Rodgers completed his first session for Victor in Bristol. It lasted from 2 p.m. to 4:20 p.m. and yielded two songs, The Soldier's Sweetheart and Sleep Baby Sleep. The recordings were released on October 7th, earning modest success. In November, Rodgers, determined more than ever to make it in the entertainment, headed to New York City in an effort to arrange another session with Peer. Rodgers requested that his sister-in-law, L.C. McWilliams, a musician, help him write some more songs. She would become his most frequent songwriting partner. She co-wrote and wrote 40 songs for Rodgers. Rodgers went to Victor's studio in Camden, New Jersey, and recorded 4 more sides, including Blue Yodel, which I love that song. Y'all got to hear that one, which it's better known for T for Texas. It featured a yodel Rodgers claimed to have learned after he caught a troop of Swiss emissaries during a demonstration at a church. In the next 2 years, his recordings sold nearly 500,000 copies, rocketing Rodgers to stardom. After this, he determined when Peer and Victor would record him and sold out shows whenever and wherever he played. Rodgers' recordings were made in August 1932 in Camden, and the tuberculosis clearly was getting the better of him, which caused him to quit touring. But he did have a weekly radio show in San Antonio, Texas, where he had relocated when T for Texas, Blue Yodel #1 became a hit. It was not in Rodgers' makeup to stay still, though. He was constantly touring, and recording schedules only hurt his chances of recovery. When the country in the grip of the Great Depression, the expense of making field recordings resulted in the practice quickly faded. So in May 1933, Rodgers traveled again to New York City for a group session beginning May 17th. He started his recordings alone and completed 4 songs on the first day. When he returned to the studio after a day's rest, he had to record sitting down, and soon retired to his hotel in hopes of regaining enough energy to finish the songs he had been rehearsing. The recording engineer hired two session musicians to help Rodgers when he returned later that day. Together, they recorded a few songs, including Mississippi Delta Blues. For his last recording of the session, Rodgers chose to perform alone. And as a matching bookend to his career records years ago. During his final recording session, Rodgers was so weakened from years of fighting tuberculosis, he had to have a nurse accompany him on May 24th and needed to rest on a cot between songs. He died of tuberculosis in New York 2 days later. His body was placed in a train in a pearl gray coffin and sent back to home in Meridian, Mississippi. He was buried in Oak Grove Cemetery in Meridian. Y'all, if y'all like me doing this, please leave me a comment below. Let me know who you would like for me to talk about. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Thank you.